Welcome to the Business Vitality Podcast. My name is Catherine Cantey. I am the host and an executive coach. I work with teams, individuals, and leaders to help create measured leadership change. We do that using practical applications, and our clients are creating 100% measured results as seen by those around them. Not necessarily what I think or what they think, but what the other people are seeing. And they are being recognized for the hard work that they're doing. If you're interested in learning more about some of the work that we're doing, you can learn more at catherinecantey.com. I would love for you to subscribe to this show, to Business Vitality. This is my way to continue to pay it forward and share business best practices. Stay tuned and listen to the interview. Thanks for being here. Rania Jamison, you are the COO at Civint, found on the web at civint.com. Thank you so much for joining us.
So excited to be here. I really appreciate it.
I love your colors. I just have to say that first. I know that that's not really where we're supposed to go, but every time I see you, you have energy, you have excitement, you have everything that you need to be in front of the crowd and lead the crowd. And I just appreciate you taking time to be able to share some of your stories. And you're an incredible leader, influencer, listener, you name it. And so it's just a gift for you to be here. So thank you for sharing your time.
I appreciate that.
You
I think
are great.
It's black and white and gray in the world. So when I can find a little color to bring in, I try to.
I love it. So thank you. Tell me about Civint. What are you doing there?
Oh man. So we are 7 months in, and Civint stands for Civic Intelligence. And we are focusing on connecting the dots to city halls across the country. We specialize in bringing businesses and organizations primarily to the doorstep of mayors. So bringing to mayors innovative technology, resources, and really just making sure that we are bringing good common sense solutions to cities across our nation. So we're having a good time building, this new practice and just really cutting our teeth at this new business model and having a good time at it.
Okay, collaboration, I think, is the foundation of every great success, because we can't do anything just by ourselves. We need people and we need ideas and we need to work together. And just the biggest, best things, they always have such strong collaborations. How did you figure out this is huge. The mayors across the country, this is huge. How did you figure out that there was this need? How did it get started?
Oh, great question. Well, I agree. I think, we get there stronger and faster together, versus doing it on our own. And as you know, I've been a solopreneur for many years, and being able to scale and have the reach, it's very hard when you do it alone. So it's a lot easier when you've got good partners. So I am blessed with Civint to have a great business partner, and our CEO, Sam, and I run the company together. As I like to say, he's kind of our front man, and I'm behind the scenes, although I also do a lot of client work directly as well. So Civint began through our founder, to be honest with you. Steve Benjamin is former mayor of Columbia, South Carolina. He served as a 3-term mayor. And I started working with Steve over the years, served as a consultant with him as he was in City Hall, was one of his, go-to people out of City Hall for any projects and the like. And what I realized was, although he was great in Columbia and people appreciated the great work he was doing on the ground in Columbia, South Carolina, when we went out of the state, he was well respected and appreciated. And so much so that mayors across the country, on both sides of the aisle, looked at him as the mayor's mayor. Right. So he was the one that they would call and say, hey, how do I do this? Should I pay attention to this? You got any ideas on that? And so it was, it's like, hey, this is a good horse to hitch my wagon to. But truly, honestly, seriously, seeing how well connected he was and how well appreciated he was, was magnetizing. And so our company technically was originally founded by Mayor Benjamin when he wrapped up at City Hall, he decided to take advantage of the opportunity to leverage those relationships that he had built over the years. And so he launched into consulting as he left City Hall, and doing such, he founded the Benjamin Firm. So to wrap all of that up, he served as president of the Benjamin Firm. He brought myself in as a consultant, as well as my now partner, Sam, as another consultant. And, we were growing by leaps and bounds, doing great work. And then this place called the White House came a knocking, and they tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, we really need your help here to lead the country. Can you come and serve as senior advisor to President Biden?" And he was whisked away. So, in him whisking away, he sold the Benjamin Firm to Sam and I, and we relaunched it as Civint, which again stands for Civic Intelligence, and works to continue that great work that he laid the foundation for. So we're proud of our founder, but so excited about what we've been able to do with this new era of who we are and what we're doing.
Local leadership is so important. And I have a couple questions just from that story that you shared. Talk about maybe some of the changes that you've already been able to create just within this short period of time of acquiring this business. Do you mind sharing some of maybe lessons learned, or maybe even, just some of the changes that have taken place?
Oh, absolutely. So I'd love to, because we've gone from drinking from the fire hose, literally, it felt like, to really putting some good systems in place. And so, I think when businesses launch, and what I've experienced is, you go at, you follow the demand. So you have clients that show up and they want these great things, and so you just begin servicing them. And so much of the time goes into focusing on, the delivery to clients, that it's hard to kind of come up for air and plan and put structure in place. And so we realized early on that, number one, we're not Steve Benjamin, right? Rania and Sam together do not equal Steve Benjamin. We are Civint, we are Rania, we are Sam, we are who we authentically are, right? And we've got great relationships and great connections as well, but we're not him. So who are we? And so we had to really take time to figure out, okay, we have never served as a mayor, but, we have great connections with mayors. They do listen to us. They do appreciate us. So how do we structure things so that now that we've got this big personality who's, no longer leading the team, how do we leverage our relationships, our connections, and our talents to make sure that we are building this company the right way? So we quickly instituted, a number of things. Number one, we built out our team. And so we're based in Columbia, South Carolina, but we also have team members that are in Chicago, Illinois. And Chicago's an important market for us, with, being such a large city. So building out our team, making sure that, we're all singing from the same sheet of music. We all, follow the same values. And that even as we reach out to new businesses or consider new business opportunities, making sure that those businesses align with our values as well. So as they say, all money isn't good money, right? So making sure that those things really align. But I think one of the most important things that we've done has been to implement a opportunity every quarter to take time away from the business to work on the business and not in the business, and really being strategic about setting in stone the time to reflect, renew, refresh, and set the stage for what our goals are, and then ensuring that, not only at the leadership level that we agree and we're in good collaboration there, but all of our team members, that they see where they fit into the puzzle and can leave their fingerprints. So, really working to be intentional about taking time to, kind of breathe and think and, plan, because again, with the rat race of just, answering the calls, the emails, responding, showing up. It's so easy to just get caught up in everything and forget that, working on the business is just as important as working in it every day.
I think that is such an important lesson to know that we have to have time away from the office, change the scenery, go anywhere but where you normally go, and be able to think and even turn off the computer, turn off the phone, and get out a piece of paper and just start documenting and free flowing and getting those ideas out of your head. Because so many times we have the answers, we just are in such reactive mode for everything, the phone, the email, the text, everything. We miss it. We miss the answer. We miss the gold that's sitting in front of us.
Oh yeah.
So
And I think so technically we launched officially April 1 of 2023. So we've only been in business a whopping 7 months, right? But tomorrow we'll be having our second retreat. So we'll have our Chicago folks come into Columbia, and we'll take 2 days to, do the important things. Talk about, where we want to go over the next, few months, talk about our clients and make sure that we're delivering and setting things up for them. But most importantly, bonding and having a good time. So we'll take time to, break bread together, take pictures together, go, play some games, get to know each other better. And I think that's an important shot in the arm as well, because, I just believe that, everybody needs to be able to show up as their authentic self, to be truly appreciated and valued, and see where their value fits. And so, we've really been working hard to make sure, again, that, we take the time to, give everyone an opportunity to shine and to be heard, and to share their thoughts, good, bad, or ugly. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. And, let's get back to work.
yes, recharge so we can give more and more effectively. I think that's beautiful. So you've got a number of team members that you're working with. It's been 7 months. I want to talk about the fact that you were a solopreneur, but let's talk about where you are right now. If you've got people that are across the country, you've got mayors you're trying to collaborate with, you've got people with multiple agendas and all this good stuff that's going on. Talk about, how do you delegate effectively? So if somebody's listening and they're they're like, yeah, how do you do it? Because today wasn't a good day of delegation and I feel bogged down. So what are your words of wisdom when it comes to delegating effectively?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, you get to the destination stronger and faster when you do it together. And it takes time. Excuse me. Sometimes it's so easy to just look at, the list of what needs to be done and recognize that, oh my goodness, I've got to explain all the steps that it takes to get to that thing. Maybe it's just easier for me to go ahead and do it. And so it's, I will tell you, delegating has been a work in progress for me. But it is one that I recognize that, serves me best and well, and gives me the opportunity to stay in my zone of talent and creativity and really maximize the best use of my time. I recently read something, and I apologize, I can't remember where I read it and who I'm quoting here, but there was something I recently read where an entrepreneur mentioned that, they had to get to the point where they realized that a $25 an hour task was just not worth their time, unless that task just brought exuberant joy, right? And so recognizing things like, simple things like hiring, house cleaning service, right? Being willing to have virtual assistants, and in addition to executive assistants, to be able to handle tasks, being able to trust interns and others, that and make sure that you have processes in place so that those things can be done and done well. But we have worked really hard to figure out, again, with our small team, in this short period of time, who's best at what. And, again, coming up for air every few months to look at things and reshuffle the deck, but really recognizing, what is worth my time, my talent, where, what are the things that I love to do and I'm really good at doing versus those things that, I really don't do that good of a job with, or, it would take me so much longer to do it versus handing it over to somebody else. So I think one of the hardest things, honestly, for me to give up was my schedule. And so being able to trust somebody to not only make my, appointments for, business related, meetings, but also, doctor's appointments, that stuff can take up time and, really be a suck of energy when you're trying to, reschedule because the doctor had to change something or whatever. And so I have found it very refreshing, very renewing. And I've had to train myself to say, okay, it is okay to say, you know what? Nope, I will hand this over and I'll let them take care of it. We'll review the calendar, make sure everything is the way it needs to be. And, we show up and rock and roll. So delegation, I think, of course, is one of those key components, just as collaboration is in terms of, really strengthening your skills and making sure that you can get to where you need to, again, faster. And recognizing that, what I might see as a chore and aggravation, somebody else like literally loves that stuff, right?
Oh, they exist. Those people exist. There's people out there who love spreadsheets. And I'm like, I don't want to look at that spreadsheet. And they say, can I do it? I'm like, all day long, because I don't want to.
Absolutely. And so, really, really being fair. And again, going back to that fingerprints piece, right? Making sure everybody has their opportunity to leave their fingerprints on the success of the business, I think is so important. And then, they feel valued and your time and talent is focused on what it needs to be, versus being stuck in in the things that can be wash, rinse, and repeat by somebody else.
So you talk about time management and giving your time to someone else. I can think of some folks that really need to hear this. Talk about that transition of letting it go to somebody else and they're booking your calendar. What was that like?
It really, I chuckle because it was such a freeing thing. It was something I knew that I needed to do, right? But it's such a trust factor, and it requires a certain open line of communication. So you've got to be, truly open and honest and talk about, what this might be for, or it could be that there's nuances in how maybe a certain meeting might need to be set up, right? And you know that stuff inherently, but now you've got to turn over all of the resources and share that information and trust that, they've got it. And what I found is it's kind of like been riding a bike. So it was scary, had the training wheels, took the training wheels off, trusted a little bit more, fell down, maybe scraped my knee once or twice when I got my hands in the middle of it after I said I was going to let it go and then I didn't. And now I mean, we're smooth, we're cycling, we're soaring because again, it's the way it should be. I mean, and again, not that I can't set a calendar. I want to go out with some girlfriends to, have a great meal or, have some awesome drinks, of course. But being able to establish those boundaries and having those systems in place to make sure that, I can kind of focus again on the things that I need to, are the finances the way they need to? Is everybody getting paid, over the next couple of cycles? Is everybody being billed the way they need to? Are we showing up the way we should? And so all of those things are just as important. And, one thing I also didn't mention that comes to mind is a little bit more on the topic we talked about earlier. But one of the things we also implemented is a very, very, very simple, basic employee satisfaction survey that I do biweekly. And with us being such a small team, the goal is to make sure that truly nobody on the bus is struggling, but if they are, that we can figure that out and get to the root issue as quickly as possible, because we really need everybody, chugging along and heading in the same direction on a regular basis. So that's something I'm really proud of that we've implemented. And I do it real simply. I'll either do a quick email, green light, yellow light, red light, or sometimes I'll do a text message to the team, and I'll just ask them thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways. And so far so good, knock on some wood, all is well. But really recognizing that, I think knowing that I need every member of the team rowing in the same direction at all time, it is that is also the vulnerability, right? We have to, in order to have excellence, everyone must be excellent. And or if someone is down or out, we've got to be able to know that quickly so we could pick up and run with it. And so that's been something I wanted to definitely mention as well, that the collaboration within the team has been so cohesive building for us, because I think what I've heard from our team members is they feel like, their voice matters. And I think when you have that, it makes all the difference.
It does. It does. So, as you're building these relationships and leveraging these relationships with the mayors across the country with your team, there's a lot of influence and different points of view of how things need to be done. What are your thoughts and maybe some ideas around how do you listen to other people's points of view and successfully maybe implement when needed that influence to drive them in that best direction?
Yeah. Yeah, we do a lot of listening, both, kind of on both sides, both our clients and trying to determine what it is that they have to offer, that they want to bring to mayors. And then, the mayors making sure that we're hearing what's really keeping them up at night and what they're really struggling with, so that when we do call and we say, hey, we've got somebody that, may have a solution for you, that it feels like it's worth their time. Because as you know, their time is so limited. And oftentimes, our I guess I call it our Super Bowls, typically end up being those opportunities where multiple mayors are together. So major conferences and things like that. And so their time is even tighter than it might even be on their home turf. So with that being the case, we build our full brand on listening and really finding out, what it is that they need, what will get them to solutions, faster, what will give them peace of mind, and again allow them to sleep well at night. What legacy items are they working on that they have every mayor has a term. Some are term limited and some aren't, but the reality is, you take it as it comes. There's no guarantee that you'll get the next term. So within that period of time, what are the things that you're really trying to accomplish, so that we can make sure that those limited opportunities where we're taking time to bring ideas to the table, they feel like it's worth listening to. Because the worst thing that we can do is, end up having a door shut in our face or a bridge destroyed that we can't then go back to that door or back over that bridge. We really have to make sure that we maintain those open door policies, so that, we can come with not just one thing, but multiple things, over the course of our connections. So, but I think the other part of it too is recognizing that even busy and important people are people, and they like to have fun too, and they like to let their hair down too, and they have real problems like everybody else. So just having that humanitarian connection that recognize that they are people who have feelings, and that's important as well. So we try to have the kind of the way we do everything, the important business conversations, but then also, have a little fun too. So we think that's as equally as important for that relationship building piece.
Fantastic. So you talked about in the past, you hinted a little bit that you were in the solopreneur area of the world for quite some time before Mayor Benjamin kind of lured you over, it sounded like, and now you've stepped away from solopreneur into business partnerships. What is that like? Because you always hear people that are in the business and they want to go to the solopreneur, but very rarely do you hear the solopreneur go into the business partnership. Can you talk about that? What's it like?
It is this journey has been it's been a beautiful thing, but a true metamorphosis. And I think if you're not growing, you're dying, right? So to be stagnant and to not be stretching is not healthy. So the reality is, I'm so thankful to have the opportunity to stretch and grow in a different direction, and really kind of bring to light a vision that I didn't have this vision 3-4 years ago. I didn't know that I would be in this seat, but it's been a true joy because I feel like I'm continuing to grow and learn and stretch almost each day. And because it is a partnership, that I've mentioned this word a few times, but trust is so important. And, we work together to build that trust through open lines of communication. Sam and I think I've mentioned Sam a couple times, but Sam Johnson is our CEO, and we're business partners 50-50 with Civint. And the reality is that we recognize that, we don't make very many moves without the other knowing. So it's almost like that beautiful, husband-wife relationship, and that we start each week, the two of us, we have our own meeting before we have our team meeting. We're constantly creating conversations around ideas and strategies. And, we join each other on calls and meetings. And so if one can't carry the water, the other one knows where to pick it up and take it from and carry it. So it's been very refreshing because the solopreneur world is one that you've got full control, right? But you also have like full control, full responsibility, full everything, and so it also feels good to be like, well, you got that right, and really be able to divide and conquer. Before we got on, like I was talking about the fact that we can, split travel. So, we don't both have to show up literally at every meeting. And so we can kind of pick and choose, okay, you're heading to Nashville. Well, I'll go to the next trip to DC. But, this particular one we both need to go to. And so that just feels so refreshing. And again, I think each day I look up and I'm just really motivated because it's, I'm growing, I'm stretching, I'm doing things different, even though, like I know how to do what I'm doing, but it's different. And so that feels really good. That feels great, actually.
That's fun. And it gives you energy. It makes you feel good. It makes you excited to get up in the morning and be excited to be here. So I love it. And I can't help but notice you have popsicle earrings on.
I do.
And I feel like I've seen them before. And right before I hit record, you said, that's what brings me joy. And I said, tell me about it. And so you have a business. Do you mind talking about it? So this is different than Civint.
It is. So I literally have a mom and pop business. So my husband and I have a business called The Lick, and we have a gourmet popsicle food truck. And we provide gourmet popsicles as well as adult gourmet popsicles and Philadelphia style water ice, which is like Italian ice. And it is truly our joy business. We are currently on winter break since we're in the winter months, but we run from March to about October, usually September, October, depending on the weather. It's fun. It's a family business. We involve our sons when we can, but I always say that you've never seen anyone angry with a popsicle in their hand, right? Unless the popsicle has fallen on the ground. And if that's the case, then we'll replace it. But it is truly about, bringing joy to people. They're hot, they want to have a delicious treat, and like I said, the adult poptails, we can pull up at a kid's birthday party, have a certain select of pops for parents, those for kids. And, it doesn't have the stigma of you walking around with a wine glass in your hand. So we have a great time with that. I consider myself the poppreneur. I work on our partnerships, our business contracts, and branding. And then my husband, I call him our popologist because he's the one that comes up with all the recipes and cooks everything up to serve to our customers. So thank you for asking about that. And so if you meet me, typically I will try to have on my popsicle earrings. I've got almost every color now. And if you're a vendor out there that sells something with popsicles on it, you've got a customer in me. Just give me a holler. I will likely buy it if I can find it.
I love this. All right, Rania, if someone wants to learn more about you and the plethora of information that you have to offer, what is the best way to learn more and reach out to you?
Well, through Civint, we're on the web at Civint, CIVINT.com. We're on all social media at We Are Civint. And then of course most of my stuff is LinkedIn as well. So you can find me on LinkedIn. You can also find me on social media platforms, but I'm pretty well linked to our Civint accounts. And I would say that if there is anything that I could ever offer anyone else in terms of advice or connections, I definitely try to do that. And I try to align myself with people like that. So thank you for this opportunity. Because, when you came a knocking, I said, absolutely, let's figure it out. I definitely want to do it. Because, that's the other thing that I find joy in, is really helping to build others and seeing everybody be able to be in their lane and just shine. It feels good to be able to support other leaders as they work to shine and grow and prosper. And so anything that I can do for anyone, I'd love to be able to join forces and figure out how we can move each other forward together.
I have seen you do it over and over again. So you are true to your word, and I consistently see you doing this. And you are just a great leader to be able to follow and to learn from. And I love that you're paying it forward with that as well. So thank you so much for taking time to be here.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right, this is Rania Jamison. She is the COO of Civint, found on the web at civint.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the episode. If you like it, please subscribe, share this episode or this show with other people around you. The greatest form of a compliment is a referral. I really appreciate them. And if you think that you want to learn more about some of the work we're doing, I encourage you to reach out to CatherineCantey.com. You can schedule a call or just continue to read articles and information that we post out there. Thank you so much for being here.